In this particular session, we will talk about the building the high performance team and the rocket model. And under this particular session, we will have the what is the high performance team. We will understand what are the characteristics of the high performance teams, the rocket model itself, GRPI model of the team effectiveness, the T7 model of team effectiveness, 7 habits of highly successful team leaders. How can you build and develop a high performing team, the art of leading high performing teams, and as usual the case study, research papers, book recommendations and references is there. I am sure that is the so far you have already understood that is the what is the team building and the team effectiveness is there. But when we talk about that is the even if we are having the team with us, then how we can make this team the high performing team to take it the maximum level of its performance. So, high performance teams is a concept within organizational development, right. So, to team organizations, and therefore, in that case it is not only leader is not only restricted to the formation of the team, right, but it is also important that it should be a continuous process, that is a development of the team is there, and that is why it has been referred as a in the organization's development part, because this becomes an intervention to achieve the goal. So, these are highly focused on their goals and they achieve the superior business results are there. So, this high performing team, the chances of this success is much higher by these particular teams, because they are having their focus on their goals. Any team which is directed towards the goal, then definitely in that case it is always will come out into giving the better business results are there. These stands for the excellence through two-way open communication that with the leader and the members. The bridge between the relationship between the leader and member is, and that is about the open communication is there, and mutual trust, which we have discussed in earlier sessions also. So, now the question arises, that is the leader should be able to resolve the conflict, because whenever there are the different personalities are there, so conflict is natural, and that can be the functional conflict and there can be the dysfunctional conflict. But the what is the then role of the leader is there to develop the high performance team, that storming phase, right, of the group, that has to be minimized, and therefore, the most of the conflicts are into the storming phase only. If we minimize those storming phase and conflicts, then definitely we will be able to create the more and more performing teams into the organization. The certain unique attributes separates that is high performing team is, the first and foremost is the inclusive thinking. This we have talked about, that is developing the team also. It is a culture basically. And whenever when we think that is a team has to be developed, then the best efforts are that is involving inclusive thinking is necessary. So, there is a common goal, there is a common value sharing among these group members, and as a result of which whenever we are having these values of exploring the more possibilities to work together and getting the team's benefit is there, then naturally in that case the outcome which will be highly positive. Now, when we talk about the diversity, then naturally we have discussed this, the personality and leadership also, work culture diversity also. Higher is the diversity, higher is the chance of this high performance team is there, and which is nowadays in the global context, this is become the must part of the team formation, because you cannot escape the team members on for the day, because they are coming from the different culture or different geographical location is there. So, global team formation that has become the necessity of the today, and therefore, in that case it is always we have to develop a cohesiveness. There is a feeling amongst all the team members, those who are coming from the different culture. Now, we have to also understand that is this high performance team creation of the cohesive culture, it will be very much challenging for the leader is concerned, because the leader has to find out that is whether he is able to come for this particular managing this diversity or not. So, here it is the first and foremost question is there, respect and trust is there. So, high performing team are always they develop a culture culture of the respect and trust, and therefore, in that case it is always the with a hard candid debates conversation, that is always it is better to have the respect and trust. Whenever we are talking about the personal excellence is concerned, naturally this has become the important, that is the team members, they are having that excellence in their jobs. That depends on the selection of the team, how you have selected the team is there. If you have selected the team which is having these all the eligibility criteria, necessity, the personality traits, then definitely in that case that the team member will demonstrate that the highest level of the personal excellence is there. Communication is one of the most essential building blocks that we have discussed in the time of this the leadership and communication is concerned, and the healthy conflict, that is about these essential element. Group think kills the innovation and creativity is there, and therefore in that case there might be the functional conflicts, healthy conflicts, functional conflicts might be there, but this will lead to the new ideas, and whenever there will be the new ideas, then there will be the success for the team members is there. The flexibility and adaptability, that is the essential part of these high performing teams, those most capable of adapting to change, and therefore because as we see that is the especially the technological scenario, it's keep on changing, and when the technological scenario is changing, then therefore the team members, they should be able to adopt that all these technical changes. On other side is which is equally important, that is the social side, and therefore this society's values, culture, systems, that is also changing. So the team members, those who are joining to leader, they are coming from different societal culture, and therefore in that case that adaptability, if there is no adaptability, there will be no team. So therefore in that case always leader and team members, they should show that is the they are highly flexible and adaptable. Openness to innovation is the it is a culture. Now we will find it is many successful organizations, what makes them the successful organization? So actually it is in the organization's culture's DNA that is creating that the innovation is there. I would like to take the example of the Sony or the Wipro or the TCS, Infosys, right, and then you will find that is the Maruti, many Indian companies, then we find that is the they are now developed a separate culture of the innovation, and therefore as a result of which it is becoming the part of DNA of the organization's culture. So this is giving us the ability to surmount the challenges, and therefore because you are confident, you will be able to face the challenges and overcome those challenges, and that ability is developed. Now the another flexibility with the adaptability is important, that is a decision making flexibility is there. So therefore it is necessary to take the decision into the real time rather than going for this in a very hypothetical situations is there, and such organizations which are having this flexibility culture in their teams, definitely then those organizations will be becoming the highly successful organizations. The rocket model is a framework here which I would like to discuss with you related to the team members is that is the how this we identify the challenge and the what is the mission and of the organization is they are developing the norms according to mission, managing the resources, and this talent is having the ability to buy in, and that is courage is there to get the results are there. So in that this rocket model, it becomes very important, that is the first we should understand that is the what is the necessity for such a rocket model is there, and these are the 8 critical questions every team must answer. What are our critical assumptions? Now you see whenever the team is formed, it is a question that is for what, and therefore in that case there are certain assumptions are created, right, like in the case of the research also we talk about the hypothesis. So therefore in that case that the assumptions are to be there in the beginning itself, and then we can start working on that, and then finally we can evaluate. So, therefore, in that case it is the always have a critical assumptions that will give a good start when team members share a common view of context in which they are operating, and therefore, in that case they are making the formation of this particular team is there. So, why are we here? The second the critical question arises and that gives the answer, that is the all team members agree that is they are having the common goal, and that goal is of the success, and therefore, that effectiveness will be more whenever the all team members they understand for what meaning or purposeful work they are here, and what they want to win, what are their goals are there, when do they need to be accomplish those goals, what strategies are to be used for the progress to be measured. Now, when we talk about this talent, so do we have the talent we need? Now, that is the matching of these abilities of the skills and abilities of the person with the required team assignment. So, therefore, it seems like it should be easy to get the right number of people with the right talents on a team is there, but in practically we will find that is getting the right person for the right job of the team, that is becoming a very difficult issue. So, whenever these teams are formed after this storming is over, the norming will start. Norming means that is the rules are to be formed. So, therefore, all team members and leader together they should decide about that is the norms of the teams, and therefore, any group to develop norms for the greeting, meeting, sitting, communicating, deciding and executing is there, and therefore, for every behavioral aspects, every professional aspect, certain norms will be developed, and these unwritten rules usually that solidify fast without any formal discussion is there. So, people they know that is we need not to make the much efforts. So, without making the much efforts normally use these unwritten rules, and they are followed by the team members by understanding the surroundings. So, in that case we are committed to success, that particular concept that is to be that motivation that is to be developed. So, buy-in happens when team members have a team first, not a me first attitude. So, high performance teams are committed to team goals, roles and rules, and they are motivated to get necessary day to day task done, and therefore, in the here their commitment is so high that is the no efforts are left to achieve the organizational and team goals are concerns. So, for this purpose the resources will be required, and these we have to ensure that is when we are going to develop the high performance team, that is we are able to provide the resources are there. So, team need to figure out what resources are necessary, and then that can be the monetary or non-monetary resources will be there. So, meeting their goals, and leaders may have to lobby key stakeholders to get those needs met is there, and that is why many times it is a responsibility of the leader to get these particular goals to get accomplished. I will give a very simple example of that is whenever there is an event activity is organized. So, then leader that he has to manage either the sponsorship, or then he has to manage the finance from the other sources. So, here do we work through the disagreements, courage is to be there. Now, you see that is that the team members cultivate the necessary courage, because whenever they are working together there will be difference of opinions will be there, but there is a courage that is to discuss that particular issue and find out the solution on that particular issue, because there might be the disagreements on many issues, and but ultimately what is important is find out the solutions. So, are we achieving our goals are there, and for what purpose the team was made? If the team is made for to achieve a particular goal, and if it is not able to achieve, then your all efforts which we have managed the resources, we have talked adjusted with the personalities, we have talked with the time and goals, but then everything will be waste if we do not have that is the results are achieved. So, therefore, they measure the results against the mission, regularly track progresses, learn from success and failures. So, continuous evaluation is also important, and whenever there is a continuous evaluation, that will give us a decision way to continue the improving the delivery, or we have to stop that particular performance of the team. So, now in this context of the 8 questions, when we are having these questions in mind, then the solutions for this all these questions and the roadmap that will come from the rocket model is concerned. So, each of the 7 components of the rocket model can be framed as a question. For the question for mission ask why are we here, and for why in are we are committed to success or not. So, to answer these questions, team members complete a questionnaire called the team assessment survey is there, that is TS2. As team members provide personalized feedback in the survey, their strengths and weaknesses along all 8 including the context dimensions of the model are exposed is there. So, therefore, in that case in the beginning itself the questionnaire will be designed. Questionnaire will be designed as per these team members has advised, and as the team members provide the personalized feedback in the survey, that is whether these questions are relevant, not relevant, where is the team's growth is there, how much growth has been done by the team, that will be decided, and leaders can then act to improve the weak areas are there. So, therefore, on the basis of this analysis what feedback has been given, for what the goals the team was formed, and whether it is matching or not matching, then accordingly they will improve the weak areas will be there. Now, we will talk about the GRPI model effectiveness for the proposed by the Rubin, Plonwick and the Fry as early as 1977, and this GRPI stands for the goals, roles, processes and interpersonal relationship is there, and this model outlines 4 parts. So, one by one we will take these parts. So, therefore, in that case it is the goals. So, well defined objectives and desired results plus clearly communicated priorities and expectations are there. Now, you see that is it is always better, that is whenever we are talking about the beginning of the performance. So, we ensure that is what are the expectations from the team member is there, and this should be clearly communicated as a priorities and the expectations are there. It helps the team members also, because he gets the time. If he is not having those resources, he will manage those resources, but if the expectations are not communicated and at the end of the day we say that is you are not performed well, then that will create the more critical situations. So, therefore, the roles will be goals, roles, they will be well defined, and then in that case there is an acceptance by the leader also and acceptance by the team member also. So, then they start, after assigning the goals and roles, they start functioning, and therefore, then they have to follow a particular process is there. So, therefore, a clear decision making process will be defined, so that whatever the problem comes in the project or that particular task accomplishment, then in that case that process will solve that particular problem is there, and the process will be formed, discussions can be held and corrective actions can be taken. Now, interpersonal relationships is a must, it is the backbone of every team members, there is a good communication, trust and flexibility. Unless and until there is not the trust and flexibility is there, then definitely in that case team will not be converted into the high performing team is there. The T7 model of the team effectiveness is there. Lombardo and Robert Eisinger developed the T7 model to define what factors affect team effectiveness. They identified the internal and the 2 external factors. All starts with the T, hence the name is the T7 is there. Now, here whenever we are talking about the task, trust, talent and tearing is there, then the team support from the organizations and the team leader fit is there. So, here it is necessary, that is the whenever we are talking about the thrust, now a common objective or goal is required, right, and this how it is to be decided. The common objective or goal is to be decided with the consultation from each other, and because we cannot decide a very high goal which is not realistic, and we are not supposed to decide a goal which is very easy and of no use. So, therefore, in that case that common objective or goal will be decided by only making the proper thrust is there. So, brainstorming is done, meeting is done, group discussions are done, and then finally the leader decides about a particular goal. The trust is the knowledge that your team has your back, and therefore, that is the always that is the you are having this particular confidence that is a team is with you, and therefore, that trust will be developed. Talent is skills to do the job, and skills and abilities therefore, it will be the team is having the all the skills which are required to do the particular job is there. The teaming skills is there to function as a team. So, there is a concept of working togetherness in the culture, organizational culture. Task skills, the ability to execute the task, whatever the tasks are there, that will be completed by these the leaders and the teams. Now here we have to also see the external factors. In addition to these internal factors, the external factors are team leader fit, whether the leader works well with the team is there. So it is very important. So that is why in many organizations, what is the practice? There is a leader is chosen first, and then he is given the freedom to select his own team, and therefore in that case that team leader fit, that work well. Team support from the organization, that is very much important, how the organization enables the team to work. Now here I would like to warn also, that is as many times organizations are not able to help the team because of their constraints at the wider level, because once they support to any particular team, they have to support the rest of the teams also. So in that case it becomes very difficult for them to manage all the teams. So what is to be done? That is, a team itself should be able to manage this. Now we talk about the 7 habits of the highly successful team leaders, that is operational team leadership, why and when you need this particular model, right. So 7 habits model helps us successfully juggle the multiple dimensions, which ensures a team stay ambitious, motivated, learning, supportive and performing. Without such a model, especially when you find yourself under pressure as a leader, it is likely you will fixate on a couple of the more urgent dimensions are there, and therefore in that case it is necessary that is the leader himself he focuses on these all the points, 7 points for the purpose of getting the results is there. So you may do your project, but destabilize your team and damage your reputation as a team leader is there. Now here we have to create a balance. Carefully we have to understand that is we are responsible for our team members also and for the organizations also. So therefore in that case the project, yes, project has to be delivered, even if there is a situation of the destabilization, but the member he manages himself, and as a result of which that he will create a reputation of the team member is there. The bare essentials, effective team leaders manage the team individuals as the people, professionals and colleagues are there, and actually these are the backbone of any successful team. So whenever we are talking about who are the people, and then whenever we take the examples of the projects, we find that is the names of the people are those who have already worked in the team and they have done the successful jobs, and then they are possessing of the professional skills, and these are the colleagues or team members are there which are having the support to that particular team. They also support and manage the whole team's workload, energy levels, customers and practices are there. Now you see that is these are the people, those actually who are the main pillars for the successful team, and because they always support the workload. So we know that is in any particular project, in the beginning the workload is very high, then workload is low, and workload is becoming very moderate, and as per the situations the team is able to manage that particular workload. So energy levels which is required to be very high, because we have discussed that is there will be a lot of challenges, and to face the challenges, manages the challenges and changes, that high level of energy is required, and therefore the leader and team members, they should be adaptable and flexible. So then also support from these customers and practices that will help the leaders to be performing well. So how we can develop a high performing team? So make the communication a priority, set as smart objectives, tackle the conflict, understand where you are currently and where you want to be. So your roadmap that should be clear. Make sense of emotional intelligence. The foundation of any successful team is trust, and feedback is a gift is there. So get to know your people. Developing and leading a high performing team begins with the connecting and conversation. So awareness of your people, the members, those who are working with you is very important. The strength and weaknesses are to be there, and then we have to club these strength and weaknesses in such a way, possible way, that is always taking a genuine interest in the individual on your team. So therefore there should not be mismatch on this assignment of the task and the leadership and the team building's performance. So therefore in that case the team building performance will be successful only when we are having this type of the interest, where we know our people, we are aware about their strengths and weaknesses. Build your people, and leaders build their people, that is this is my team member. So therefore that feeling that feeling that this is my person, that is a high achieving individuals with a common vision create high performing team is there. So, therefore, it is always that is the who are the high achieving individuals are there, because they have the proven track, and whenever they have the proven track, then that becomes easy to make them the team members, and there is a common vision also. So, whenever then they are competent enough and they are a common vision, then definitely they will be working as a high performance team. And now we always talk about the input, process, output, corrective actions and feedback is important is there. So, although we may not be able to connect with our team members more than 15 to 20 minutes in a day, it is important to check in with your team members on a regular one-to-one basis is there. So, whenever you are interacting to one-to-one basis, then definitely you come to know where my team member is standing, what problems he is facing, and then by providing the solutions you can have the better speed of your project. Lead with the vulnerability, share stories of how you become a more decisive leader, dealt with uncertainty and developed the interpersonal relationship is there. So, you can put yourself as an example, and therefore, in that case you can say that is how you have taken these difficult decisions also, and then there are in the situations of uncertainty and develop the relationship with the team members are there. Navigate the change through conversations. So, business and organizations are constantly changing to meet demands, evolve and grow, and therefore, this is becoming the continuous process, and therefore, in that case it is important that is the business and organizations are also growing together, because we are having the constantly changing, and therefore, in that case there will be new issues which will be developing, and then you have to get this help of these particular issues. So, it is very sure that is the whenever you are having this the goals, objectives, adaptability, flexibility, working togetherness and developing the competencies, then definitely in that case you will be able to perform the high performing team, and you will be able to develop the high performing team. So, as usual, in this is the particular case study that some team then in this case study you will find that is the how these that is the smart teams that we talk about did not allow individual members to dominate. Instead, there were more equal contributions from managers than in other teams are there. So, therefore, many times this type of these critical situations that may arise, and this is a very good example has been taken from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology MIT, right, and then to solve a particular task is there. So, that is the smart teams and the dumb teams are there. It is not that smart teams had more gender equality, these teams simply had more women, and this result might be partially due to the fact that more women scored higher in the reading the mind in the eyes test is there. So, therefore, their practices which have been adopted by both the teams, and in that case it is the questions will be that is from your experience in teams, do you agree with the researchers finding, right. So, that you can comment, you can read, you can work on this particular case study. This is on the highly functioning team in which you have been a member, what other characteristics might have contributed to the success. The authors have also suggested that membership in a team makes us smarter, founded teams were more rational and quicker at finding solutions to their. I will advise you that is while going through this case study, you can suggest from the certain suggestions from your side. So, that is the and then definitely it will be best to base from your own experiences, and therefore, how to create the smart team that you will be able to develop of your own by after going through this particular case study. This is a research paper, the dynamic organic transformational DOT team model for high performance knowledge worker teams is there. Now, this is another issue is there, that is whenever we are forming the high performing team, and the team is not based on only the skills, that is based on the knowledge is there. So, that is a leading the team with the intellectuals, team of the intellectuals, right. So, that knowledge worker teams leading is definitely it is a big challenge. Therefore, this paper will be helping you that is with the help of the team performance theory, that is how you can handle this type of the situations and can become the successful leader is there. So, here we will find that is the allowing knowledge workers members to effectively respond to dynamic changes right, and therefore allow them. Actually the first part which we have talked about, the inclusive. So, if inclusive leadership is there, so then this type of these issues that will be handled by the leader himself. So, this will be the practical implications. This is the book recommended, the Rocket model itself, and the practical advice for building the high performance team is there, and here these all points have been discussed in the details and which you can refer, and I am sure you will be having the successful team is there. These are the references as usual, and for the material which has been we have discussed above, and simultaneously for your the further studies. I am sure that is the when we have travel through this particular journey, right, and coming towards the end, this particular developing the high performance team and this culture development and practices which have been discussed here, the tips for the high performing team that will help you in your future endeavor. So, this is all for further readings, and thank you.